All right, we're live.
We're live. Sweet. Welcome back to another Mary Truth Talks with Mary the Wonderful and Laz, who soon will have a camera for.
I'm
Thank
good.
you guys for tuning
I'm
in.
just the background production, man. I don't need to be in a
Hey,
camera.
man, you should still have a camera, man.
Nah. This show's about you, not me.
He's camera shy, guys. But thank you guys so much for tuning in to another Mary Truth Talks episode. And before I get into it, follow me on Instagram and on TikTok, Mary_Truths. And very important, if you want to invest in us, that way we can invest in you, subscribe to our Patreon in the link in the caption below. And thank you guys so much. Let's begin. So it's gonna be a little different. I'm gonna have less stories, more talking, I feel like before I was doing too much stories and I wasn't able to put my full input in it. So we're gonna change it up. So we're gonna start with immigration. So I'm probably gonna butcher his name. It is what it is. What was that? The secretary of, what was it? The education lady?
Oh, I don't remember. What?
Mahong.
Oh, you call her Mohong.
And it's man, or how do you say her last name?
Yeah, man.
Something like that.
Something.
And I was like, bro, why is the H silent, So I apologize for butchering this guy's name in advance. Mahmoud Khalid. I tried. All right.
You gotta
Mahmoud
yeah, you gotta add the
Khalid.
Mahmoud.
I tried. All right. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. Israel and Hamas ceasefire deal. Israel and Hamas ceasefire deal update. My voice just
Trying to add some of that in there too? Jesus.
Tesla under attack by the far left. Nothing new there. All right. Democrats are pissed at Chuck Schumer for voting no on the government shutdown. I don't know why they were mad about it, but we're going to find out. I love this one. Trans Representative Sarah McBride says Republicans are weird and bizarre.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a statement. Wow.
We'll comment when we get there, but yeah. So let's start with that first one, Mahmoud Khalid. Let's watch that video really quick. So this is, I believe, when he got arrested.
Yeah, it literally says you're going to be under arrest on there.
Yeah,
so,
all right, cool.
I think
Let's
so.
do it.
I think so.
What? You're going to be under arrest. So turn around.
Okay,
Stop
let's
resisting.
not.
Stop resisting.
Okay, he's not resisting. He's giving me his
Quality,
phone,
quality.
okay? He's not, I understand, he's not resisting.
Put your arm
Like,
There's no need for this.
Don't worry about it. You're going to have to come with us. Don't worry
I'm
about it.
coming with you. Don't worry.
No one's resisting, no one's getting worked up.
you guys really don't need to be doing all of that.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
حبيبي كيف بدي اتصل فيك؟
Take Amy. Call Amy. She'll
Okay. Hi Amy.
All right. We get it. He got arrested. All right, cool.
Oh, we're just gonna show 30 seconds of that?
Yeah, that's really all there is. And then she's like freaking out, like, oh my God, what do I do? What do I do?
Okay.
So there's no point. Okay, so this guy is a Palestinian. At least that's what they say. And he's here on a green card. So he was a student at Columbia University, and he's here on a green card. So the guy was a student organizer for some anti-Israel organization or anti-Israel club or whatever in Columbia University. And he was the one organizing all the protests. So I want to actually show the actual protest, but before we get to that, there's a video really quick. If you can, oh, you're showing the guy?
Yeah, I'm trying to get a picture of him,
Yeah.
but Google's being weird.
This guy's everywhere.
Well, I'll just see if I can
Yeah. See if you can.
move you over here.
Okay. So they're saying that this is a speech issue. So he was detained, and then now he's in Louisiana, I believe. And of course, a lot of people are saying that this is a free speech issue. I don't see how that's a free speech issue when he's not an American. So I think that people are misinterpreting the First Amendment and the Constitution, and they're applying it to people that are not even American. So, I mean, there's a reason why in the Constitution it talks about naturalization, because it's about Americans. It's not about people with green cards. So this perspective that, oh, the Trump administration is breaching on our First Amendment rights because they're detaining this guy, to me is a far reach. And I don't think it's a very valid argument, because this guy's not an American and he was organizing protests that were violent. They damaged private property, which we'll show soon. And again, he's not an American. So like, if you're an American and you're saying like, fuck America and pro Hamas, you're an American, you can do that. But if you're not an American and you're on a green card, you need to be on your, like, what is that saying called? Q's and
P's and Q's.
P's and Q's. That way, you know, you can get to citizenship. You know, like, so I think.
Shout out to Jose. Hey, what's up, brother?
What's up?
Welcome.
Yeah, tell me what you think about this, because I mean, I'm gonna get more into it, but this is a really touchy subject, because it's like this guy is pretty much he was trying to negotiate with Columbia University to try to like defund like Israeli students, like something along those lines. Like he was trying to like stop Israel from funding the university or people that were Jewish or something along those lines. And then the university was like, no, we're not going to do that. But he still was organizing these protests that ended up becoming violent. So, I mean, take a look at this video really quick.
This guy like screams government plant to me. I don't know. He has that vibe.
Yeah, I was telling you that earlier. I think this guy's a plant. I mean, allegedly. I don't know. I'm just,
yeah, I agree. I mean, just look at him.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not convinced.
Yeah, me either. Let's take a look at that really quick.
Ooh, here we go.
Okay.
We have you covered here. Well, take a look at what the president said of the arrest over the weekend of a former Columbia student, a Palestinian organizer, saying that President Trump said, "We will find, apprehend, and deport these terrorist sympathizers from our country, never to return again. If you support terrorism, including the slaughtering of innocent men, women, and children, your presence is contrary to our national and foreign policy interest, and you are not welcome here." So again, that coming over the weekend of the ICE arrest of the former Columbia student for his apparent role in the anti-Israel protests and encampments that happened last year, and we showed you so many of them over the course of last year. Now we want to take you out live to this active protest of that arrest. We should also tell you the breaking news that a judge has denied for the time being that deportation. There is going to be a special hearing on Wednesday for that organizer. So what we'll do right now is just play out just some of the sights and sounds coming out of New York City. Let's listen in.
This is what I want you guys to listen to. Listen to this. This is the Jewish guy.
David Weiss of Neturei Karen, the Jews United Against Zionism. Basically, we have rabbis from Palestine, from Jerusalem, Al-Quds, and many of us who are immigrants, second-generation immigrants. My father escaped from the Nazis. His parents were killed in Auschwitz, as my mother and almost the entire family. I was born here. We are Jews, and because we are Jews, we cannot be silent when we're witnessing a massacre, a wholesale murder of the people in Gaza, and it's being perpetrated under the name of my religion, Judaism. And if anybody dares to speak and to try to somehow express their hurt, their feeling, students who are relatives of these people, and others who have humanity on their mind, they're immediately accused of being anti-Semitic. Now, anti-Semitic, we know it's in our bones. My family suffered from anti-Semitism. But anti-Semitism means when you hate somebody because of their religion, because of Jewish, not when you are opposed to a crime that has been perpetrated against your family, when you're watching children being murdered. So therefore, we are out here pleading with our president, pleading with the heads of Columbia University, pleading with the people who are in power. Stop being intimidated. Stop being conned by this false narrative, the false Judaism, Zionism. It's a pure ersatz Judaism. It's a nationalism. Judaism is a religion of 3,000 years to serve God. We're forbidden to kill or steal. We're forbidden to create the Jewish sovereignty. What is being perpetrated in Gaza is senseless murder, and the ones who are doing this are the textbook definition of anti-Semitism, because Jews live together with Muslims. They are killing people. They are even killing and arresting Jews who are opposing them, and people are dying for their cause. They've caused a rift between Jews and Muslims. Stop this occupation. We can once again live in harmony and peace. Release Mahmoud Karun, because he is simply a hero, a person who's speaking up for the rights that God's want of us.
All right, so let me give my thoughts on that. If you can put me, thank you. All right, so as you can see, this issue has now divided even the Jewish community, and now there are people that are, on the Palestinian side, and then you have the Jews that are on the Israeli side. I agree with him to an extent, but I don't agree fully with him. I agree that Judaism is a religion. I agree with him on that it shouldn't be seen as a nationalist thing that it is right now, because it's a religion. But I don't agree with what does Mahmoud Khalid have anything to do with this. This is a whole separate issue altogether. Just because he happens to be Palestinian doesn't mean that he should be freed because he believes that Palestine should be free. Those things should not go together. That's just my take on that specifically. But when it comes to that issue, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I actually agree with Cenk. He was on Piers Morgan recently, and he was saying how...
With who?
Cenk Uygur, the Turkish guy from the Young Turks. He's the owner of the Young Turks. And he was on Piers Morgan a couple days ago, and he was saying how, where we back up Israel to a fault, and we don't acknowledge when they've done wrong. And I understand the perspective of Israel has been occupying Gaza for 60 years, I think, or about to be 60 years. So I understand the perspective of the Palestinian or the people that are pro-Palestinian of they've been and pretty much incarcerated by Israel for all these years, that, it's justified of what's going on right now. The way Palestinian people or pro-Palestinian people are acting is justified because of this 50, 60 year incarceration of the military industrial complex of Israel. But to me, it's that's not an excuse to create protest that puts the campus at risk. I understand that the people of Palestine have suffered for many, many years, but I'm sorry to tell you that they're not the only people who are suffering. I am Cuban, I came from a third world country, and my country is still suffering. The people in my country are still suffering. So this perspective of, because these people have been suffering for a long time and the conditions are horrible, that it justifies the shitty behavior that's going on right now in private property. Columbus is a private university. This should not be happening in a private or in a public, but especially not in a private university. And the reason why I'm very strong about this is because if you were to tell me that they were peacefully protesting, then I would sort of agree with this guy, but they're not peacefully protesting. If you damage private property, it's no longer peaceful, period. But apparently this is a speech issue, not national security issue, which I strongly disagree, and what you're gonna see why. So if you can put the next one right now, it's the last spring in Columbia University. This is the protest that now is getting a bunch of people. They got people expelled, and that's another reason why this guy got detained, is because of this.
Wow.
Yeah.
What are they breaking into? What is this?
So they pretty much took control of a building.
What building is it, you know?
I don't know, some building in the university. And they broke the windows. They brought a ladder
How
in
is
there.
that supposed to
I don't
make them
exactly.
look good? Like,
Exactly. I don't
Makes
understand.
them look like a bunch of vandals. Is this what they're paying their tuition for? Like, to protest?
That's what I was
against
saying on TikTok the other day.
foreign problems? Like,
That's literally what I was saying on TikTok the other day. I was like, dude, what do these people how do they where do they have the time to do this? I don't understand.
clearly they're not with their studies, you know, they're doing this. So
I honestly,
the brainwashing is real, man.
it really is.
Honestly,
Yeah,
I mean,
it really is.
Jesus.
Yeah. So this is the reason why this guy got detained, because of stuff like this that was happening, and it was happening for a long time. So it's about time that there's some type of accountability. You know, there has to be, because if not, then what you're saying is you don't care about private property, and that's Marxist. So yeah. So let's talk about the Alien Enemies
Hold
Act.
on. Check out the chat real quick.
Oh, okay. What's good, Mary? What's good, AVP? Thank you for joining in. Same thing happens to some Asian students. The feds revoked her visa. She was a Columbia University student. Pretty sure she was pro-Palestine activist who was supporting Hamas. Talk about fuck around and find out, right? That's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's just we gotta do something. If you want respect, you have to literally act. And this is acting. So speaking of acting, Aliens Enemy Act of 1798. So that has been used multiple times throughout history. So I'm gonna clue you in on why I'm even bringing this up, because Donald Trump said he was going to use that to pretty much expedite the processes for deportation. That way people don't have to go through a judge. And he's saying that he's going to use that on Tren de Aragua, because he declared them a terrorist organization.
But hold on, though. You can't just glaze past what we just watched.
Oh, sorry. Is that
you gotta get more thoughts. You gotta what do you like? Okay, so what are your thoughts on school, universities doing these things, students doing these things,
they can't. That's not peaceful. That's what I'm saying. If you're not breaking private property, then okay, cool. You can do what you're doing. You can protest, but protesting should not be creating damages in a building, or blocking people from going in the building or out the building. None of that should be happening.
Why do you think there's such a huge I feel like there's been huge uprising and this kind of behavior, all these protests and such. I mean, before people would protest but it wasn't in such great mass. Why do you think that?
I think people could be getting paid to do it, and I think
crisis actors, I guess.
Yeah, and also just people are more organized now. There's an actual.
What do you think the purpose of that would be, though? Having paid actors, they're sowing chaos on purpose. What?
To get you to believe the narrative that they're selling.
To push a narrative, right?
Yeah, that's the only way. I
just find it weird that now is when this is happening.
But it's always happened like that. Look at the 1970s with the hippies. The hippies were protesting because they didn't want the whole Vietnam War. So they were actually peacefully protesting at the time.
Wait, say Vietnam again?
What?
Say Vietnam again?
Bro, I can never say that right. Vietnam. Vietnam.
You said Vietnam.
I don't know why I say like that, and then whatever, bro. Leave me alone. There's a lot of things that I don't pronounce correctly. Leave me
So
alone,
you think
man.
the hippie movement was a funded like psyop or something?
Yeah,
Damn,
I know, right?
never thought of it that way.
Yeah, hippies are like comunistas, bro. No quieren trabajar, siempre están en marihuanao. Like, they don't want to work. They're always getting high off of weed.
Interesting.
Like when we were younger, we thought that was like cool, but now that you really look at it in the grand scheme of things, they weren't very productive in society, and they had a very strong voice. They were young, they were fresh out of college, some were still in college, they didn't agree with the war, which is understandable, but we were fighting communism. We're still fighting communism to this day.
So you're saying these people here are kind of like the modern day hippie in a sense?
I guess just a different version of it.
Interesting.
Yeah, because the hippies back then were left, and these people are like kind of far right if you really think about it. Because people say that these are lefties. I mean, they are, but not really, because the Muslim culture, Islam culture is far, far, far right, like ultra conservative. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Everything in excess is bad.
yeah, Sharia law, all that is far, far, far right. So it's hilarious how they're like, oh, Trump is fascist, but you're siding with a culture that is extremely far right. So
Extremes are never end well.
yeah, no, never. I wouldn't want either or, so the closer you can get to the middle, the better. So let's talk about this. We're good on that topic?
Yeah, I was good.
All right, cool. So let's do this really quick. So the Aliens Enemies Act of 1798. So the reason why I'm bringing this up, like I said, he wants to use it. So on March 15th, 2025, so yesterday, President Donald Trump invoked the Aliens Enemies Act of 1798 to expedite the deportation of individuals associated with the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua, which the administration has designated as a foreign terrorist organization. The background of the Aliens Enemies Act. Enacted in 1798, the Aliens Enemies Act grants the U.S. president authority to detain and deport non-citizens from countries considered adversaries, particularly during times of war or invasion. Historically, it has been invoked during World War of 1812, the War of 1812, World War I, and World War II. Recent developments, the administration's recent invocation of this act aims to address alleged threats posed by Tren de Aragua members within the United States. However, okay, cool. So, of course, the American Civil Liberties Union, the ACLU, are obviously trying to stop him from using it. So I think they're suing him. And then there's a federal judge, James Boasberg, used a temporary restraining order blocking the deportation, emphasizing the necessity for a court hearing to access the legality of using the act in this context. All right, so this is what I find just like incredible. So during FDR, my favorite president, I love talking about FDR because he's a very prominent figure in American history, and we need to talk more about him because people want to make him seem like he was a good guy, but I don't believe he was a good guy. But anyway, so FDR used this act with the whole Japanese encampments. He used this. They're like, so I don't understand why, and it's not like it's been done before. This will be the fourth time it's being used, and it makes sense to use it. We were invaded. The border was open for like 3.5-4 years. So it doesn't I don't understand why you would say that this is a bad idea. It's a tool that was created a long time ago for you to use when needed. This is a good time to use it. I don't know. What do you think? I think this makes perfect sense. Why not use the Alien Enemies Act to get people out of here as fast as possible?
You gotta use whatever he has in his arsenal, man.
Yeah.
Because this is a really huge problem right now.
So another thing I wanted to add on. So I recently saw, which I recommend you guys watch whenever you get the chance, the Adam Smith. I think it's Adam. Sorry, no, it's not. Stephen A. Smith and Tom Hogan, the border czar, They just had a conversation recently, and it was really good because it really gave you a perspective of how the border was and how the border is now, and what the priorities are now versus what the priorities were when Biden was in office. And Tom Homan really emphasized that during Biden's presidency, all they cared about was optics. So they allowed a bunch of people in and they would release them that way, like there wasn't like a crowd of people that the media can like talk about, you know? So like everybody would say, oh, the border's not open because, you know, like the way the system worked is there wasn't any vetting. So everybody was just coming in quick and fast, getting on those cars and getting shipped to Texas or to different, and then Texas would ship you somewhere else, wherever you wanted to go. So because of the way they had everything set up, it was all about speed. It was about how many people can we like bring in here. It wasn't about like quality or safety or any of that. And another thing that he brought up is we need to find all those missing kids. There's a bunch of missing kids. And I didn't even know that during Obama's administration, you know how Biden was a VP at that time, in second term, I think the secretary of, I forgot what it was, chief of staff, I think it was chief of staff, that Mayorkas was like some type of position, I think it was chief of staff at the time that Obama was in office. And he said, I was in the border, like he was still protecting the border at the time. And he was saying like, these guys know what it is to protect the border. We deported 3 million people when Obama was in office. So it doesn't make sense that when Biden goes in, everything just is thrown out the window. And it's like they forgot what procedures they were using when Obama was in office, that now that they're in office and they actually have full control, they don't do it. And it doesn't make sense. It's like, what's the point of that? So, of course, he put his 2 cents as to why he thinks it is, which is like that theory that supposedly like the Democrats want an open border because they want to bring a bunch of people here to convert them to Democrats, and like that's like their evil plan to make like the Democrats like the only party or some like it's a conspiracy theory, obviously, and it could be maybe even far-fetched because you're assuming that everybody you bring in is going to become Democrat. For all you know, they can be a Republican. You know, you don't know. People think however they want to think. But I definitely agree with him on the fact that during Biden's administration, they only care about optics. They didn't care about any safety whatsoever. That's why they lost a lot of people, a lot of kids. And then during Trump's administration is the opposite. There's barely been border crossings, bro. Like the border crossings have significantly decreased in a short amount of time. It's insane. It tells you that they really were not giving a shit about the security of the country at all. Like that was not on their priority list. It makes me just like, I'm like, dude, you really must not care about your own people if you're willing to sacrifice their security for, you know, immigration or what they deemed as immigration. I'd say it's legal human trafficking. So, allegedly. So before I get into the other one, I wanted to really bring up another good point that he made, Tom Homan. He said, because Stephen A. Smith was asking him, oh, but what about when you guys are separating families during Trump's first administration? And he goes, I mean, when an American gets prison time, they get separated from their families. So, like, I don't understand why it's different for an illegal. And that was such a based answer. I was like, yeah, like, so, yeah, I just wanted to add that in there because I was like, yeah, that's like common sense. I never even thought of that. But, okay, so do you have any thoughts before I move on to the next one?
Good. Keep going.
Any thoughts? Anybody? All right, cool. So Israel and Hamas ceasefire deal updates. There's a lot to this story, but let's watch that video really quick. Can you read that for me, please? Because I can't see.
Well, I'm gonna have to go back.
Sorry, I should have told you that.
Trump strikes a deal with Hamas. Israel sidelined. Hamas to free Israeli American soldier after direct talks. Trump Hamas deal on living and dead American hostages. Is this all text?
Yeah. This is
So I
all
have to
text.
be pausing and reading this the whole time
No, you can read it while it's going. I don't know why you're pausing it.
because it's loud.
Lower the volume.
Hamas has agreed to release an American hostage who is dual national and was serving in IDF.
Yeah, idea.
Soldier was taken hostage on October 7th. Bodies of 4 American captives will also be freed. The group confirmed in a statement that the Eden Alexander, a U.S. citizen, will be freed. Hamas did not disclose the identities of the 4 deceased hostages who hold dual citizenship. The group expressed willingness to negotiate a border deal with Israel. Hamas urged Israel to comply with its obligations to move forward a comprehensive agreement. Earlier, U.S. Envoy Steve Witkoff arrived in DHO, DOHA, and proposed a new hostage exchange framework. Reports indicate Hamas was offered a ceasefire extension in return for releasing hostages. The proposal included a freeing 5 living and 10 dead captives in exchange of ceasefire per Axios? Axios? I don't know what that is.
I can't see, so I can't tell you.
Hostage families voiced concern that the deal could prolong their loved ones' captivity. 59 Israeli hostages remain in Gaza, with only 24 believed to be alive.
Crazy.
The U.S. proposal aims to extend calm in Gaza while securing more hostages to be released. Discussions between Hamas, Israel, and mediators continue amid mounting pressures. Israel has yet to formally respond to the latest terms put forward by U.S. officials.
We'll find out why. That's it? All right, cool. All right, back to me.
Yeah, that's crazy. Only 23 alive.
Yeah.
Estimated. They don't even really know.
Yeah. All right, so this is what's happening, and then what? Now we know why Israel never responded so quickly. So it's because they had airstrikes recently. Yesterday, a lot of things happened yesterday. So Israeli airstrikes on March 15th. Israeli airstrikes in northern Gaza resulted in the deaths of 9 individuals, including 3 journalists and several aid workers. Israel asserts these strikes targeted militant operating drones, while Hamas and humanitarian organizations dispute this claim, labeling the incident a violation of the ceasefire. Yeah, it definitely was a violation of the ceasefire. Like, bro, you know that the deals are being done. Why are you doing airstrikes? Like, this is why we're having protests right now, because of stuff like this. That it's like, why are you doing that? Because then it makes you look bad. It makes it look like you want to continue fighting this war. So, hostage negotiations. Hamas has delayed the release of Eden Alexander, the last known American Israeli hostage, citing unmet conditions related to the ceasefire's implementation. The group demands Israel lift the blockade, withdraw from strategic areas, and facilitate humanitarian aid. The U.S. government has criticized these demands as entirely impractical. And then Israel has halted the entry of goods and supplies into Gaza, aiming to pressure Hamas into accepting a new ceasefire proposal. This action has exacerbated the humanitarian crisis in the region. Okay, so I've also heard that they control the electricity in Gaza, and they've shut the electricity down. Pretty much making it harder to sustain the people there. I mean, it's already hard to sustain them, but now it's a lot worse. So the ceasefire agreement, structured in 3 phases. It's currently in its first phase. I don't know how long it's going to go to the second phase, hopefully soon. Bro, what's up, bro? What's up? You want to be a part of the live? All right, so where was I? Israeli government. Where was I? Okay. which includes a 6-week truce, the release of hostages by Hamas, and the withdrawal of Israeli forces from populated areas in Gaza. However, both parties have accused each other of violations. Israel's position. The Israel government has expressed a willingness to negotiate the next phase of a ceasefire contingent upon the immediate release of 11 hostages and the return of deceased captives. Hamas insists on the full implementation of the initial ceasefire terms before proceeding, including lifting the blockade and addressing humanitarian needs. Damn. All right. I don't like that it says Hamas's stance because I'm not condoning or accepting or anything along those lines of a terrorist organization. But I do think that if two parties want to come to a common ground, there needs to be, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, there needs to be a calm mind on both ends for that to happen. And if one side is frantic, it's just not going to happen. And how can you negotiate with Hamas, a terrorist organization, when there is no light, there's no, like, how are they going to get water? How are they going to, it's just, you're creating more tension by stripping people of those basic necessities, and you're making it harder for them to even agree on any terms with the conditions that the people living there are currently experiencing. So again, I'm not siding with Hamas. I'm just saying that the people of Gaza should at least have basic stuff to survive if you want any type of common ground to happen. Because it's the same thing with Ukraine and Russia. Like, you got to give up some stuff, like, you got to give up some stuff. You can't just like be like, no, you don't get anything. I have, no, you have to give up some stuff. And I think Israel has to give up.
What the hell happened to your hair?
Sorry, I'm like moving it around because since I like have it down, I get hot. Story of my life. So, I move it around to like give it some air, some breathing room. Sorry, you started talking about my hair, so I brought it up. All right, so that's what I think. Okay, I personally think that Israel is not choosing to sacrifice enough for there to actually be a legitimate ceasefire and for them to move to phase 2 of the ceasefire. Does that make sense? Anybody? Damn, only 23? Yeah. It's sad, man. War is sad and ugly, and innocent people die. And those are the ones that get hurt the most, are the innocent people. So.
And unfortunately, this country needed to make money.
But I think that if we continue to choose people in office that are not pro-war, we will have less of it, I personally think that Kamala Harris would have not been able to do what Trump has done so far. So, I'm not saying Democrats are pro-war, but the Democrats that we have that are leaders, quote unquote, are pretty pro-war. So that's just my take on that. Okay, so I want to really quick talk about the whole Tesla under attack by the far left. So Tesla is being attacked by people who are saying that Elon Musk is messing up the government. He's cutting like Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security, and he's evil, and he's a fascist, and he's a demon, and he needs to be deported, because he's bad. And, that's literally what they're saying in a nutshell. So really quick, let's take a look at this short clip about what's going on right now with the whole Tesla stuff.
Pulling it up right now.
Okay. And then I'll give you my ultimate take on that because I brought it up on Instagram the other day.
While Musk has been helping to dismantle numerous government agencies, or leading the charge to dismantle them, stock prices for his company Tesla have fallen so much that President Trump felt compelled this week to announce he'll personally buy a Tesla. On Tuesday, Trump and Musk held what's compared to an infomercial for Tesla outside the White House. During the event, Trump told a reporter that he considers attacks on Tesla dealerships to be domestic terrorism.
It is.
Mr. President talks about some of the violence that's been going on around the country at dealerships. Some say they should be labeled domestic terrorists.
I will do that. We got a lot of cameras up. We already know who some of them are. We're going to catch them. And they're bad guys. Let me tell you, you do it to Tesla and you do it to any company, we're going to catch you and you're going to go through hell.
Go through hell.
We're
He
joined
loves the
now
word
by
hell.
Valerie Costa, a Seattle-based activist who's helping to organize
we
the
don't care about
Tesla
these people. I just
takedown.
wanted to bring that up. Okay, cool. Okay.
Oh, because it's supposed to be up to 358. Oh, sorry, 230. Oh, yeah, that was 230.
Yeah, I
Never mind.
was like, I don't care about these old hags. Anyway, so sorry, not sorry. When I get old, I'm definitely not gonna be a hag. I'm just saying. Okay, so first of all they're doing, I brought it up on Instagram, is lowering the stock price of Tesla. They're not gonna crash the stock market of Tesla. That's not gonna happen. Like the people who swear like it's just gonna keep going down, like that's not gonna happen. You have to be, I brought it up on Instagram and I'm gonna say here, you have to be really narcissistic to believe that these people who are a minority are doing that much damage that it's gonna go down to like super cheap. It's not gonna, I mean, I'll be down for it because I'll be putting hella money in there, but whatever. It is going down enough to where you could invest more of it. And I brought this up, I think recently, maybe 2 lives ago, where I'm like, I think it was last time, like if you're seeing that there's chaos, then you should invest in it, take the opportunity. And this was an opportunity for people who are investing, long-term, short-term, whatever. This was great for you to invest in Tesla because they lowered their prices. You were able to buy more. So I saw that as a win. I don't see that as a lose. I think he brought it up on Joe Rogan not too long ago that he really doesn't care what's going on. He doesn't think it's really going to affect it in the long term, and it's not. Because if you understand economy, marketing, capitalism, you comprehend that all you're doing is marketing for free for Tesla. You're lowering the actual price of the product, making it more affordable for the masses to consume. So like all you're really doing is helping him, you're not hindering him. So like that's why I thought that was so stupid. I was like, these people are like retarded. I don't understand how they think that this is actually going to affect the brand. It's not. It's going to make the brand even more popular than it was before. What do you think?
Yeah, I have no thoughts about that.
Okay. All right. So from now on, I'm gonna know your thoughts if you actually just throw yourself in there. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. You guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think that's actually going to affect it long term or not? What do you think? Put it in the comments. All right. Let's move on to this is honestly one of my favorite parts of today's show because it gets really funny from here. So Democrats are pissed at Chuck Schumer, who's a minority leader in the Senate, for voting no on the government shutdown. So this is a part that I don't know if you guys know, but Democrats are very anti-government shutdown. And every time the Republicans have threatened them about a government shutdown, they're like, no. And now they're like, yeah, government shutdown. You know, it's like, what is going on? Like, what do you believe in? I don't understand. Do you believe in anything? I don't think so, but whatever. I'm going to tell you why. So we just had like a continuing resolution bill, which is pretty much funds to avoid another government shutdown or to avoid the government from shutting down, really. And it's just to fund essential things. That's what the bill is. And that bill was actually appropriated during the Biden administration. So it was drafted, appropriated, everything was ready to go. And it just needs to be passed through Congress and then Senate. The way it can be signed into office. The way the departments can get funded. So during this continuing resolution bill, the Democrats were literally fighting tooth and nail for a government shutdown because they didn't want to sign or vote on the bill, like vote yes on the bill. So what I thought was interesting was, okay, so you've always been pro no government shutdown. Now you're not. Why? And then on top of that, they wanted to eliminate the filibuster. So a filibuster is a tool that Congress and Senate have that if you're trying to block legislation from happening, you filibuster, so you talk as much as possible, creating objections for people to switch to your side. That's literally what filibustering is. And it gives the rights of the minority group to actually, like, you know, pass things on their terms or whatever. So Democrats have always been against the filibuster. They were fighting to eliminate the filibuster. And there was a Democrat that was a moderate Democrat who was like, no, dude, we need the filibuster because in case like you become a minority, you're going to need that tool. And they were like, no, we need to freaking eliminate it. Fuck this shit. So when the CR came, they started using the filibuster. I'm like, so dude, you're a hypocrite. Like, you want a government shutdown, you don't want a government shutdown, you want a filibuster, you don't want a filibuster, like you're just a freaking hypocrite. So really quick, let's read this New York Post, if you can bring that up, Bliss.
It's up.
Okay, cool. I thought that was okay, check this out. Okay, so ex-Senator Kristen Sinema, that's the moderate Democrat I was telling you about. So, called out Squad, Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and other Democrats as hypocrites Saturday for pushing to use the filibuster to stymie a GOP-backed funding bill 3 years after their party demanded its eradication. Literally. They did a whole town hall on eradicating the filibuster. Change of heart on the filibuster, I see. That's what Sinema wrote to AOC. Okay, freaking advertisement. Okay, so who once lashed out at Sinema for not bowing to left-wing pressure to scrap the tool which allows the party in the minority to check the majority's power by requiring most bills to receive 60 votes. He claimed in January 2022 that the filibuster was a relic of the segregationist era. That was Oshana. Yeah, Oshana, that's another senator, Democrat, said that the reason why we need to remove the filibuster is because it's racist, pretty much. It's ridiculous. Okay, so the reason why I'm bringing this up is because there's a video of the next story that's coming along now that it's like, so they don't really believe in anything, but what they do believe is calling a man a woman and a woman a man. That they do believe in, like, hardcore. Like, this is like everything else, like, we can, switch sides, whatever. But when it comes to trans and, the whole alphabet group, that's like one of those principles that they're not going to budge on. So Sarah McBride, who I forgot, what is she, Delaware? I think she's a representative of Delaware. I'm not sure what representative. Somewhere up north in the East Coast. This is hilarious. I want you to put really quick the video of her reacting to you just have to see this because this is
Sarah
just
McBride?
Yeah,
the one that you had on the email?
Yeah, that one.
This one, right?
Uh-huh. This is great. They don't believe in anything but this right here.
We will not take a lecture on decorum from a party that incited an insurrection.
Mm-hmm.
I appear to live rent-free in the minds of some of my Republican colleagues. I wish that they would spend even a fraction of the time that they spend thinking about me, thinking about how to lower the costs for American families. I wish they would spend a fraction of the time that they spend thinking about me, figuring out how to make government actually work better, rather than making it work worse in order to prove that government can't work. They are obsessed with culture war issues. The Republican Party is obsessed with culture war issues. It is weird and it is bizarre. And the American people deserve serious legislators, serious elected officials who are focused on bringing people together to deliver real results for the American people, not to play games and not to engage in schoolyard taunts.
All right. My turn. Okay, so what I find interesting about what he said was that that we're obsessed with a culture war issue. Yes, because okay, culture is everything. If you can control culture, you can control like pretty much everything. So the fact that they don't comprehend that, yes, we need to win the culture war if we want to get the youth back on track is just shows you how far they've gone, that they don't comprehend that culture is everything. You capture culture, let's say you capture the generations, you know? So this perspective of a woman can be a man and a man can be a woman, the perspective of accepting that they are, I'm not going to say trans woman because that's not what he is. He's a man. He's a biological man who thinks he's a woman now because he has made himself look woman-ish, but he's still a dude. Like, you can tell that's a dude pretending to be a woman.
Big time.
Dude looks like a lady, or trying to look like a lady, better said.
Yeah, for real.
I just had
Not
to.
even looks like a lady.
You know, and it's just like,
Was he wearing a wig? Or was that actually his hair?
I don't know, but I just think.
Who knows?
I just think it's bizarre that somebody who literally does not want to accept the gender and sex they were born with is saying that Republicans are weird and bizarre because they actually give a shit about the culture in this country right now. And the fact that, first of all, do you guys not forget that when Biden was in office, there was trans people and the flag, the LGBT flag was like front and center. Do you guys remember that? Can you please find that? Because we cannot have amnesia. We need to remember what happened during the Biden administration. Like, we cannot forget that people like this, Sarah McBride, are perfectly okay with this shit. With this, if you can show that really quick?
Well, they had this picture here in the White House.
It's the White House with the gay flag,
Yeah, this one
and
right
then the American flag right next to it.
Yeah,
Like,
right
that
here.
is
Right here.
not acceptable. That is not acceptable. What does sexual orientation have anything to do with? I just don't. How does it represent America? I'm sorry. Like, how does that? That's not. No. It's nobody's business who you sleep with, bro. It's nobody's business but your own and the person you're sleeping with. Period. This whole sexual orientation is my identity needs to stop. That is the part of the culture war that we need to win. It cannot continue. There should be no reason why there should be elementary school kids thinking that they are the opposite sex, or they're whatever. That shouldn't be happening.
Or another species altogether.
Yeah, that should not be happening.
That's another thing.
So no, if you think that what happened during the Biden administration was not weird and bizarre, then you, my friend Sarah McBride, are the weird and bizarre one. Because can you show? I'm sure there's the videos out there of the people showing of the trans showing their fake tits on the White House, in front of the White House. I think it was 2 years ago.
Show that.
Well, you don't.
What do you mean showing their fake tits?
Yeah, it's blurred out because it's a video that went viral. You remember it was a dude. You can tell it was a dude with fake boobs, and just showing their boobies to everybody. It was blurred out though.
I don't know.
Whatever, fine. If you don't want to risk it, it is what it is. But you guys can literally find it. That went viral for a long time, and the fact that happened is just disrespectful. It shows the lack of decency that we had for 4 years, because the administration thought it was not weird and bizarre for that to happen. So it's a stain on our history, unfortunately, but it is what it is. So this is why Sarah McBride said what she said on that podium. It's because of this video. You can put that video up really quick. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. And if the guy hadn't like cared so much, Sarah would have just continued saying what he was gonna say, but they made a big deal about it. So you ready?
I now recognize the representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ranking Member Keating, also wonderful.
Mr. Chairman, could you repeat your introduction again, plee?
Oh my God.
Yes, we have set the
No, he said it right. He said it right.
standard on the floor of the House, and I'm simply.
What is that standard, Mr. Chairman? Would you repeat what you just said when you introduced a duly elected representative from the United States of America, please?
I will. The representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Mr. Chairman, you are out of order.
Oh God.
Mr. Chairman, have you no decency?
Oh my God.
I mean, I've come to know you a little bit, but this is not decent.
We will continue this.
You will not continue it with me unless you introduce a duly elected representative the right way.
This hearing is adjourned.
Wow. Wow.
This is where we are right now, right?
Ridiculous.
This is why we need to win the culture war, because this should not be happening. Like, this person was born male. So it's perfectly valid to call you Mr. because you were born with a penis and testicles. Now that you have chosen to take hormones and transition and whatever the hell, does not change that you are male. Like, when you die and they get your bones, they will be like, that's a dude. So why are we lying to ourselves? It's like, oh, this is a miss. Like, no, it's a dude. It's a Mr. So, like, the fact that we're paying for these people to do their jobs and they're not willing to do the jobs that we're paying them to do because they want to misgender the person to accept their false reality is unacceptable. I don't pay you to do that.
Ma'am.
Like, yeah, I don't pay you to do that. I pay you to
I am a lady.
And you know what? He didn't actually care. He kind of like ignored it, and he would have continued talking if this guy wouldn't have been such a pussy and like made a big deal about it. Honestly, it's absolutely ridiculous. This guy, it's man. Yeah, dude, it's clown world. Yes, it is clown world. We are living in clown world, and we need to win the culture war. That way, we can stop living in clown world, because this is gone way too far. Like, way too far. Oh, and then Sarah McBride. So I don't know if you guys know, but Nancy Mace, congresswoman, not congressman. She's actually a woman, by the way. I don't know why I said congressman. So she, I think she passed a bill that allowed only women in women's bathroom in Congress. That way Sarah McBride wouldn't go inside the women's bathroom. And then Sarah McBride, I think, like responded like, oh, I'm not going to dispute whatever, you know, like pretty much like I'm not gonna pick that fight, you know, which is smart because you're a minority when it comes to that. You're the only trans in Congress, so you know you don't have much of a leg to stand on there. But guys, this was the new and improved Married True Talks. I'm not gonna do that many stories. That way I have more to bring up on the topics themselves. If you guys have not subscribe to Married True Talks, become a truth seeker, like, share with your friends, or a lib. I love meeting new libs, okay? I love libs. Libs are my greatest friends. So thank you guys so much for tuning